What if everything you've been told about success is wrong? What if motivation isn't the secret? What if discipline isn't the answer? And what if the biggest changes in your life don't begin with a bold decision, but with something so small you can barely notice it? That's exactly what James Clear argues in Atomic Habits, one of the best-selling self-improvement books of the 21st century. Since its release in 2018, it has sold millions of copies, been translated into dozens of languages, and completely changed the way people think about success, productivity, health, and personal growth. The reason is simple. Most books tell you what to do. This book explains why you failed to do it, and, more importantly, how to finally change. Whether you want to build better habits, break bad ones, lose weight, become more productive, grow your business, or simply become a better version of yourself, the principles in this book apply to every area of life. But before James Clear became one of the world's leading voices on habit formation, he almost lost everything. When he was 15 years old, he was standing on a baseball field during practice when a teammate accidentally let go of the bat during a full swing. The bat flew directly toward him. He never saw it coming. It struck him squarely in the face. Within seconds, his life changed forever. His nose was shattered. His eye sockets were broken. His skull fractured in multiple places. His brain slammed against the inside of his skull. The swelling became so severe that doctors placed him into a medically induced coma just to keep him alive. For weeks, his future was uncertain. Even after leaving the hospital, recovery was painfully slow. His vision was damaged. Simple movements became difficult. Returning to school felt overwhelming. The dream of becoming a successful athlete seemed to disappear overnight. Most people think life-changing success begins with one extraordinary moment. James Clear learned the opposite. His recovery wasn't built on one heroic comeback. It wasn't one perfect decision. It wasn't one burst of motivation. It was hundreds of tiny decisions repeated every single day. He focused on sleeping a little better, studying a little harder, keeping his room organized, training a little longer, eating a little healthier. None of these actions looked impressive on their own. In fact, they were so small that almost nobody would have noticed them. But together, they completely changed the direction of his life. A few years later, he wasn't just back on the baseball field. He became captain of his college team. He earned academic honors. He built one of the most popular newsletters on personal development. Eventually, he wrote the very book you're learning about today. That journey revealed a principle that most of us completely misunderstand. Success is rarely the result of one massive breakthrough. It's usually the result of small improvements that compound over time. Think about how we normally approach change. We promise ourselves that this Monday will be different. We'll start waking up at 5 in the morning. We'll exercise every day. We'll stop eating junk food. We'll read 50 books this year. We'll become a completely different person. For a few days, maybe even a few weeks, everything goes well. Then life gets busy. Motivation fades. Old habits quietly return. Eventually, we're right back where we started. James Clear believes this happens because we've been focusing on the wrong thing all along. We've been chasing dramatic transformation instead of building sustainable systems. We believe we need bigger goals. In reality, we need better habits. And that's where the title of this book becomes so important. Why does he call them atomic habits? Because an atom is incredibly small. It's almost invisible. Yet atoms are the building blocks of everything around us. Likewise, tiny habits may seem insignificant on any single day. But when repeated consistently, they become the building blocks of an extraordinary life. One tiny habit won't change your future. Neither will one workout, one healthy meal, one page of reading, or one early morning. But repeat those same actions hundreds of times, and something remarkable begins to happen. The results don't simply add together. They multiply. And that single idea may be the most important lesson you'll hear today. Imagine an airplane taking off from Los Angeles, heading for New York City. Now imagine the pilot changes the course by just a few degrees. At takeoff, the difference is almost impossible to notice. But after flying across the entire country, that tiny adjustment could send the plane hundreds of miles away, landing in Washington, D.C. instead of New York. That's exactly how habits work. Small choices rarely change your life today, but they quietly determine where you'll end up years from now. This is why James Clear describes habits as the compound interest of self-improvement. We all understand how compound interest works with money. A small investment grows slowly at first. Then, over time, growth begins to accelerate. Habits follow the same pattern. Every positive action is an investment in your future self. Every negative habit is a debt your future self will eventually have to repay. The challenge is that compound growth is invisible in the beginning. Go to the gym today, and your body doesn't look different tomorrow. Read 10 pages tonight, and you won't wake up noticeably smarter. Eat one healthy meal, and the scale won't suddenly move. Because the results are delayed, most people assume nothing is happening. So they quit. James Clear believes this is where almost everyone gives up too early. He calls it the plateau of latent potential. Imagine pushing a giant boulder uphill. At first, every step feels exhausting. The rock barely moves. You wonder if your effort is making any difference at all. But eventually, after enough consistent pushing, gravity begins working with you instead of against you. Progress suddenly feels easier. From the outside, people call it an overnight success. But you know the truth. The breakthrough didn't happen in one moment. It was built by hundreds of invisible moments that came before it. This idea completely changes how we should think about success. Most people judge their habits based on immediate results. James Clear argues we should judge them based on the direction they're taking us. Your current life is simply a reflection of your previous habits. Your health reflects years of eating choices. Your financial situation reflects years of spending decisions. Your relationships reflect years of conversations, kindness, and trust. Your knowledge reflects years of learning. You don't get what you want. You get what you repeatedly do. This brings us to one of the most famous ideas in the entire book. Forget about goals. Focus on systems. At first, this sounds almost wrong. After all, aren't goals important? Of course they are. Goals tell you where you're going. But they don't tell you how you'll get there. Systems do. Imagine two basketball teams playing in the championship game. Both teams want to win. The goal is identical. So the goal itself cannot explain why one team becomes champion while the other loses. The difference lies in what happened long before the game. How they trained. How they practiced. How they recovered. How they prepared every single day. Those are systems. James Clear points out something most people never consider. Winners and losers often share exactly the same goals. Every entrepreneur wants a successful company. Every student wants good grades. Every writer wants a bestseller. Every athlete wants a gold medal. The goal isn't what separates them. The system is. There's another problem with goals. They only create temporary change. Imagine cleaning your entire house. For a day or two, everything looks perfect. But if your daily habits remain unchanged, the clutter slowly returns. The mess was never the real problem. The system that created the mess was. This is true in every part of life. If you lose weight through an extreme diet but never change your eating habits, the weight comes back. If you build a business through endless overtime but never build healthy work systems, burnout eventually catches up with you. Goals can produce results. Systems create lifestyles. And perhaps the biggest shift in thinking comes next. James Clear argues that lasting change doesn't begin by asking, "What do I want to achieve?" It begins by asking, "Who do I want to become?" That single question changes everything. Because every action you take isn't just producing a result. It's casting a vote for the person you're becoming. Every workout is a vote for becoming an athlete. Every page you read is a vote for becoming a reader. Every promise you keep is a vote for becoming someone people can trust. Real transformation isn't about forcing yourself to behave differently. It's about becoming the kind of person for whom those behaviors feel completely natural. So, how do you actually turn these ideas into lasting change? This is where Atomic Habits stands apart from so many other self-improvement books. James Clear doesn't simply tell you to build better habits. He gives you a practical system for doing it. According to the book, every habit follows the same four-step loop. First comes the cue. Something in your environment captures your attention. Next comes the craving. You begin to desire a particular outcome. Then comes the response. This is the action you take. Finally comes the reward. Your brain remembers the experience and becomes more likely to repeat the behavior the next time the same cue appears. Understanding this loop gives you something incredibly powerful. It means habits aren't random. They're designed. And once you understand how they're designed, you can redesign them. James Clear summarizes the process with 4 simple principles. If you want to build a good habit, make it obvious. Make it attractive. Make it easy. And make it satisfying. If you want to break a bad habit, reverse those same principles. Make it invisible. Make it unattractive. Make it difficult. And make it unsatisfying. One of the easiest techniques in the book is something called habit stacking. Instead of trying to create a completely new routine, connect a new habit to one you already perform every day. After I make my morning coffee, I'll read 1 page. After I brush my teeth, I'll meditate for 1 minute. After I arrive home from work, I'll take a short walk. By attaching a new behavior to an existing routine, consistency becomes much easier. Another lesson may be even more important. Your environment often matters more than your motivation. We like to believe successful people simply have stronger willpower. But in reality, our surroundings quietly influence hundreds of decisions every single day. If healthy food is visible, you're more likely to eat it. If your phone is always within reach, you're more likely to pick it up. If a book is sitting on your desk, you're more likely to read it. Sometimes the fastest way to change your behavior isn't to change yourself. It's to change the environment around you. Perhaps the simplest idea in the entire book is also one of the most powerful. The 2-minute rule. Whenever you're starting a new habit, make it so easy that you can't say no. Read 1 page. Write 1 sentence. Put on your running shoes. Meditate for 1 minute. These actions may seem too small to matter. But that's exactly the point. Because the goal isn't to finish something big. The goal is to become the kind of person who always shows up. James Clear also offers 1 simple rule that can save almost any habit. Never miss twice. Everyone has bad days. Everyone loses motivation. Everyone falls behind sometimes. Missing 1 day is part of being human. But don't let 1 missed day become a new pattern. Come back the next day. Then the next. Progress isn't built by being perfect. It's built by refusing to give up. And perhaps that's the most hopeful message in this entire book. We often look at successful people and imagine they must be different from us. More talented, more disciplined, more motivated. But Atomic Habits suggests something far more encouraging. Extraordinary lives are usually built in ordinary moments. Not through 1 life-changing decision, but through thousands of quiet decisions that almost nobody notices. Every page you read, every workout you finish, every healthy meal you choose, every promise you keep to yourself. None of them feels life-changing on its own. Yet together, they become the foundation of the person you're slowly becoming. Maybe that's why this book has resonated with millions of readers around the world. It reminds us that lasting change isn't something reserved for extraordinary people. It's available to anyone willing to improve, even just a little, every single day. So if there's one idea worth taking away from this book, let it be this. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Don't wait until Monday. Don't wait until next month or next year. Start with 1 small habit today. Repeat it tomorrow. Then repeat it again. Because your future isn't created by the biggest decisions you make. It's created by the smallest decisions you repeat. If you enjoyed this summary, subscribe to 1 Book in 10 Minutes. Every week, we explore another best-selling book and turn its biggest ideas into practical lessons you can start using today. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing. 1 Book, 10 Minutes. Better you.